Will they? And off we go, off we go. So this is the 3v3 League Season 2 conclusion here from the first division. It's a playoff final. They chose to do a best of 3. It's best optional if you want to do best of 3 or best of 5. I just found that's a way to accommodate players' availability. Arena 2v2 event next, says Arzak. Ouch. I'll keep it in mind. I don't like 2v2. I don't do a lot of runs of 2v2, but I wouldn't mind casting it, of course. So for Noob Squad, we have Robo as the Mayans, Young Panda as the Portuguese, and Pete as the Hindustanis. That's their civilizations of choice. Whereas for Anvil, it's General Zuma with the Gujaras, as we know, is strong. One of the stronger civilizations these days, and they should have good advantages on land nomad with the abundance of herdables as well. There are quite a few geese around the map, as you know. So if he has sent some geese from his teammates, then there's certainly potential for Guriara's domination here with that extra food trickle. Pitlia with the Vietnamese here. Why Vietnamese? Because once the opponents get their TCs up, you'll know their locations, and Pitlia will also be able to notify Street Pete over here in the Spanish that the Spanish player is indeed right next to the opposing Hindustanis player. Now, Hindustanis have cheaper villagers. 5% cheaper in the Dark Age even. It's not a huge bonus, but it escalates to 10, 15, and 20 as you move throughout the ages. So that means that they could go rather smoothly up to the feudal age. I don't know if Yellow knows, might have some idea here that the neighbor is close. And of course, on these nomad maps that have so much stone on them, conquistadors of the Spanish, they're really dangerous. So you really want to eliminate the threat of, of conquistadors through delaying the Spanish as much as possible. And Pete is nicely set up for a potential tower rush or archers or other kinds of feudal aggression here against the Spanish player, provided Pete realizes that oh, there are two Petes here. Provided that Pete sees that Street Pete is really close, is what I want to say. As far as General Zuma's position go, he's far away from everyone, which is just playing right into the Guriara's hands. You could just boom your way around the game. Always gonna get lucky and find a couple more geese here as well. Nice. 2 more geese for the mill to garrison. Should be fairly easy for both the Gudjaras and the Portuguese to set up a boom here, but of the two, I'd say Gudjaras had a better boom because of their potential of garrisoning herdables to get the tiny but steady food trickle for all of the game, potentially, as long as the middle doesn't get taken out. Well, here's Street Pete and Pete fighting over the resources already. Do they have blue? So look, see, probably not, right? Not at this stage in the game. So they're going to be hunt peacefully right next to each other. Could be that the Spanish player will be forced into feudal age, or he will be forced into feudal age aggression and reaction here, because they are so close. If you don't respond, you're going to get severely delayed to the next stage, right? Portuguese, if Young Panda gets to boom away with Portuguese here, the opportunities are endless. They have Arbalists, they have decent cavalry as well. They have fully upgraded cavalier. But castles and organ guns comes to mind as well. If you mass the organ guns, they're just so nasty to deal with any kind. And the other gunpowder options for the Portuguese as well, with arquebus, essentially ballistics for bomber cannons and such, gunpowder units. Yeah, they're dangerous in the late game. So if the Portuguese are being left alone here, that could be an issue. But Anvil having Vietnamese on the team know the location, so they know that Robo is quite close to Pitlia as well. So in fact, Robo could get walled in here in the corner, looking at the placement of the DC and everything. Is walled himself for the time being, but if this gets spotted, could be bad for the Mayans as well. It does have access to a stone, so he will be able to get the castle up and get his precious plumed archers out in the castle age. Meanwhile, General Zuma isn't going straight for the castle age and the boom here. He's actually going to believe the scouts by the looks of it. It's going up at 20 pop. We'll get some decent turnout from the fully garrisoned mill here with the geese though, and there might be more to come here with another mill going up here. So if Zuma finds more geese around, I think he's still scouting for them as well. There's potential for even more food output bonus for them. Good age on the way for the Hindustanis player. And Street Pete, not so much. Beautiful move here by Pete to wall in the stone close to Street Pete's TC. Is it going to be completed? So maybe not. Loom is in for both players, so they're still fighting at equal villager stats here. Feudalish is in for Zuma, and he's going to drop the stable and claim some map control and scout the map with Gudjar scouts here. I like that Philando about to get some vision, and with the food trickle from the mills of the Gudjars, you're still going to more easily fund both scouts and your progression towards the next age, even if up at 20 pop like that. Sufficient walling in there, so that makes it a bit harder for Street Pete to go for tower defense. He's gonna get the villager though. That's a 1 HP villager for Pete. There's no way Pete's get away. Oh, quick wall! Quick thingy! There we go. Bam! Nice move by Street Pete there. Who I seem to recall is Danish, I think. I think he's a Danish player. Yeah, here comes the mining camp. Still sticking with the FC plan here. Street Pete seems risky because Pete is up with the range now. Will be pumping out some archers. Could still deny the stone income with archers here from this direction. At the very least, will force Street Pete into a defensive tower, but there isn't really any opportunity for a defensive tower for at least another 2 minutes here for Street Pete, so he will... Does he see that? He doesn't see it. Uh-oh. Because if he spots the tower, he can rush it down with builders and he'll be okay-ish here on the stone, but Pete now small walling in the tower already. He's not going to allow Street Pete to access stone easily, and Street Pete... he's seen the stone patch over here, so I think he's going to be alright after all. So this is where the action is going to be at here. Pitlia, straight FC, what looks of it. Probably the case for Robor as well. Now let's have a look at the scouts of Zuma and what they are up to here. They've spotted some stray builds of Robo here on this side, taking a little bit of elevation advantage. And yeah, that's at least 1 kill. There's nothing here to protect Robo. Robo's going to lose 3 villagers here potentially. Nice quick walls though. But that still idles the villagers, so not ideal. Street Pete, of course, moving away from the stone now. I'm pretty sure he's seen this one tile here, so he could still collect stone. He might need it for defensive towers, if not for just a castle once he gets to the castle age. Let's have a look at the resources here. Still missing some food to go up, but I think with that boar he's going to be fine. Oh, he actually went to the stone to the right-hand side. That's going to be... It's really unfortunate for Pete here not having seen that patch of stone as 1 tile away from spotting it. So that zone is going to be uninterrupted for long enough for Street Pete to get his first cat lap in the Castle Age. Maybe Street Pete is still in a decent spot here. 6 scouts out now. Suppose Zuma... Well, Zuma got 1, actually. So I guess Robo saved the other 2 villagers. Yeah, he's moving around in a different direction over here. Just give me a quick moment here to link the draft as well. Sorry if I'm missing something. Should be a quick fix. Yeah, Station Simple Robo is going to drop the castle right at the TT, protecting his main area. Still some room for farming here, still enough stone to get at least 1 more castle up. These scouts are here, but the quick walls will keep them out. This should be... No! He broke it. Great reaction from Robo there. He stops the castle from going up now. Pitleo rushes in with the castle as well. Might be able to punish Robo Borrow's unfortunate position here. The scouts keep pounding away, and there's not really enough room for the villagers to scatter around the castle here to build it faster. Pitleo commits all of the villagers here, really doesn't want these plumed archers to enter the field, but keep in mind, up north, Young Panda is extending into a boom. He's got the corner all for himself. General Zuma is still in the feudal age, making use of the scouts. This castle will complete in time to deny Robo's castle, I think, so the Mayans' investments here is... Oh, wait, will it? No, it's gonna go up, actually. It's gonna go up. Unless the scouts break through just in time. No, 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 no. That's so close, but the castle goes up. This is gonna be a petard war, I think, between the castles, if they want to commit to it, actually. It's pretty costly with petards, but it's also a useful way to take down castles when they're this close, because the castle can't focus fire or petards in time. Castle is up for the Portuguese. It's a long distance for organ guns to travel, but Young Panda is going for it regardless. Now back to the Spanish side here. Defensive tower on the TC, denying 1 of Pete there. Remember, the Spanish villagers build more quickly as well. The TC coming up here, so the first castle of Street Pete is still a bit off. I missed the fact that Pete actually denied the stone income of Street Pete over here, so that's why there's no castle yet. Street Pete has to relocate. Why isn't it going for this one though? Granted, it's only 1 tile visible, but that one may not be visible to the yellow player either. No, again, not scouted, that little pile over there. Eco. Dead even, I'd say. Military situation, numbers-wise ahead for Anvil, but strength-wise ahead for Noob Squad. Rattans versus plumed archers here, and now petards being made from both. Yeah, they're going to... I don't know if that was intentional or not, but this is actually quite awkward, because you have to commit to repairs over here. Right next to Castle Fire, so it's not easy to repair your castle here either. It's both of the players could easily just focus fire the Castle Fire and deny repairs. Here comes the Spanish castle. So Street Pete did manage to get enough stone in the end. Probably bought a little bit to manage that. Let's have a look at the market stats if there was any. Definitely bought some resources. I think he bought stone to get that castle up and trap the Hindustanis at home here, force them to relocate. Only 1 TC for Pete for now. And 5 villagers lost as well, whereas Street Pete actually didn't lose a single one yet. The Organgers have traveled a long distance here, but they're here to punish the Gurjaras. They don't want to see the OP composition of Gurjaras entering the late game here. Some camels being added by General Zuma here, but he's going to need significant numbers to keep up here. He does have how many geese total now? 16 geese. So that should be a decent passive food trickle, shouldn't it? Oh, there we go. But yeah, Zuma is on his own here now. He's fighting against Young Panda. He doesn't have the armies to hold it off yet. He's going for some Shri Bamshas as well. They are very speedy to that, so at the very least they'll be able to get close to the organ guns. And I suppose they dodge organ gun particles. So maybe it will work. Maybe the Shri Bamshas will work here. Or Shawarma Riders, as some people like to call them. There's one TC for now for General Zuma though, so he needs to protect the economy around it to the best of his ability. Light Cav upgrade is in as well. He's mustering his armies. I think it should be enough to deal with this amount of organ guns. And the reinforcements, they are trickling in, but at a slow pace here for Young Panda. Back to the Spanish, the Kongs are out, or yeah, 5 Kongs total. Now ready to romp the map and punish all of the players accordingly. Second TC for Street Pete, so he's extending the ego as well. Not sure who's position at favor here. The Shri-Ramshas and Camels, they are cleaning up the organ guns here. Oh, hello, Angel Noob. Nice to see you stopping by. Appreciate that. Get the feeling you're always working. Organ guns not paying off here for Young Panda, not nearly enough, or I suppose he got some kills in. But no eco kills! Amazing, great hold by General Zuma there to not lose a single villagers to that mass of organ guns with the armies out of position. And he's chasing more organ guns here, now failing to replenish here. Young Panda still one castle, but admittedly with the best boom of all of the players here. Even cleaning up the outpost for vision here. General Zuma. Topside, another castle coming up from the Portuguese, so it's going to be the extended organ guns play here. Bloom Launchers of Robo out and about to punish the Spanish economy as well, but it's 4 TCs total now for Street Pete, so he's really upping the eco game here now. 59 villagers, 11 Kongs out in the field as well. I suppose they should be able to keep up with the Bloom Launchers, 120 movement speed. Yeah, the Kongs are faster for sure. Rat Archers moving over to chase the Blue Archers, I suppose. There aren't a lot of them though. Where are they going now? Are they going to keep hassling the Hindustanis here? Look, the sneak villager of Young Panda are just dropping outposts everywhere for some vision on all of General Zuma's base. Actually going to reveal here that General Zuma likely is only on 2 TCs. So the Gujarat's economy is still on the back foot here compared to the Portuguese player. We even have the Imperial Age on the way for Robo, which means that the castle of Pitlia and overall the home base from Pitlia is in a bit of danger over here. Anvil is ganging up, they're chasing small numbers of UTs here, but they're also they're pressuring the Mayans at the proper moment here, I would have to say. Robo is sandwiched in the corner. He doesn't have much room for expansion, but he does have armies to hold up here, and he's walled off nicely to keep the economy safe for now. Until Anvil break through, that is. with this triple combination of armies. Meanwhile, Young Panda moving forward with a chunk of war wagons and builders. Again, that long traveling distance all the way to the other side of the map, though. Ambil with the population lead here, but they fail to get through to Robo's side. Robo now even getting fortified walls for the stone walls, but I suppose you're still going to be able to break through the weak point that is the university here. Bloom Archers making use of their range from behind the walls here. Now the melee units moving away, but the Rattan Archers dive in. They have the same range as the Bloom Archers here, so they should match each other until Robo gets a bracer at this, because now he's in the Imperial Age. But then it's open. We are through, and Noob Squad are in a great spot now to really punish both the army investments and the economy of Robo. Robo definitely incapacitated here now through these raids. The castle stays up and is trying to trap away Pitlias, but the camels dive in to deal with that as well. Pete now relocating with 3 PCs up to the north, so he's establishing a boom, or re-boom, if you will, close to Young Panda's home base. Young Panda, of course, gets that castle up, lots of army to defend it, and also lots of villagers to build it. Now it's easier to replenish the organ guns as well. Back to the Mayan base. Looks like Anvil are happy with the damage done here. They've successfully set back Robo quite a bit. And at home base, most importantly, taking out the Bloom Archers numbers actually. Robo was in the 20s, then reached the Imperial Age, lost most of the mass defending the aggression. TCs. Hindustan is with their now 15% cheaper villagers. Definitely have an easy way to reboot, but Street Pete is smelling what's up here, is moving the conquistadors to the north to try and prevent Pete from getting back into the game here. Land Noble has an abundance of stone and gold, and definitely trade potential as well if you happen to control the corners, which neither of the teams really do. But yeah, very, very late game you could set up trade as well. Okay, hopefully that frees up some resources. I had some in-game lag issues here. I hope it's going to get a little bit better. It's really stuttering now. Hold on. It could also be just the fact that it's a 3-3, but it's really on the stuttering side here. Trying all the tricks up my sleeve here to improve performance a bit. Hitler really scrambled to keep the castle alive now. Didn't even click Imperial Age yet, so this castle I think is bound to go down against the mines of Robo here, because Hitler can't comfortably engage unless he gets some cavalry help from his pocket over here. Certainly it buys him time to do whatever is planning to over here, but it's also sandwiched between Young Panda and Robo at this point. So if this castle goes down, Pitlia is very exposed to aggression from the organ guns as well, from the opposing side. However, Young Panda is busy dealing with good Yaros over here, doesn't want them to get to the Imperial Age or to the critical mass of units. 19 organ guns out and about, the third castle coming up in the very back of the base as well. Making Conquistador raids of Sweet Pete quite a bit harder here as well. Anfield with a very convincing military lead here, but the military situation is similar. And at the end of the day, it's military numbers that win games, not the villagers' numbers, but military. So whoever has the better armies and better army control takes the win home. I like the addition of the armored elephant from General Zuma here to go in front. It acts like a ram soaking up some organ gun fire, allowing the rest of the units to engage, but General Zuma is being heavily pressured here, is committing mainly to the Shiryu Riders, tries to get some Chakram throwers out as well, but when the Portuguese gets to this point, that is no joke, it has to be. But, you basically would like to have a siege on the girl or something to push away this amount of organ guns or shit tons of light cav or something like that. So have a look at Pitlia's base again here. Robo dropping another castle now. Castle number 2 doubling up on the plumed archers, which is basically the Mayans equivalent of a cavalry archer. They move really quickly. Pitlia forced into some skirmishes here. With the Vietnamese you get Imperial skirmishes as well, so it's actually a viable unit to make. But generally you don't see a lot of skirmishers in team games because skirmishers have minimum range and cavalry units will easily dive in and snipe them. Behind all this, Street Pete has abandoned the Conquistador idea, at least partially, and has gone into the Paladin switch. The Spanish, they have a full tech tree from the blacksmith, so Spanish get fully upgraded Paladins as well. But with the walling and the defensive castles here, it's really hard to punish Pete and Young Panda enough here. Granted, Pete must have lost a couple of town centers here up north, but he's salvaged the rest of the base. He has 78 villagers now and going Imperial Age, whereas General Zuma still is in the castle age here, trying to hold off the Portuguese pressure. Great work with the Paladin transition here. Coordinating with Pitlia here to chase the organ guns away, and let's see, Pitlia is in the Imperial Age. Does he have enough stone for a castle? He should be getting close. Another reason for Pitlia to switch into the skirmishers is of course that he lost his castle, so the Rattan Archers investment, that's not quite viable anymore. Zuma, healthy economic situation here, with the 3 TCs still at, got healthy economy running over. He's taking out the outposts to hide away the vision of the red player. While, as you can see from the Eco KD here, Street Pete has done an amazing job at raiding whatever economy he can find. He even found a hole in the top side here to hit the economy in the back side of the base of Young Panda as well. Young Panda still trickling in those organ guns, but failing to get to the proper numbers. I'd say 13 organ guns now gone into the halve switch, of course, because there are heaps of Spanish paladins on the field as well. Even with the pounding General Zuma has been taking here, I'd say Anvil looks to be in a good spot. Robo is cut off from his allies down south here. He's still feeling the armies, of course, also going into the halberdiers here, but the overall population is 150 ahead almost now for Anvil, so they're certainly putting up a good fight here. Heavy camels are in for Pete. That's also a good means to deal with Spanish paladins, and even the conquistadors. There are a few conquistadors still left on the field. I suppose Street Pete is adding them for raiding purposes to be able to hit over walls and at a range or whatnot. Crippling the halberdier switch here with Captain Rams pushing away at the barracks as well. Siege Ram just about to kick in here, and a couple of siege workshops here to once again push the Mayans down south. So Paladins and Skirmishers and even the Chakram Throwers, this is beginning to look like a combination from Anvil that is just nearly unstoppable, because you have a response to everything. You have the Paladins and the Shriramshas against ranged units mainly, but then you have the Imperial Skirmishers against the Imperial Skirmishers against the ranged units, but then you have the Chakram Throwers who deal with the Halberdiers as well. And the Imperial Skirmishers for that matter, they counter Halberdiers, so there's essentially nothing here except the Heavy Camels to stop the Paladins here, but the Heavy Camels could also, I feel like they would also be vulnerable to masses of Chakram Throwers. Imperial Camel on the way for Pete, so Pete's economy certainly has stabilized. Maybe he's received some sling as well to be able to... Yeah, a little bit of sling received at some point there for Pete. The Imperial Camels definitely will put up they will deal with the Spanish Paladins, and they also have bonus damage against buildings, right? All of the stable units of the Hindustanis have bonus damage against buildings, so you could use them as a pseudo siege weapon as well. Looks like Young Panda is preparing an arbalest switch here, but I'm not sure if I understand that, because General Zuma is going into, or has quite a few Shriramshas on the field, and they will just dive in and deal with the Arbalists as they pop up. Of course, if you have a large enough group of Arbalists, maybe you could still get away with it, but that's exactly what Anvil are making sure won't happen over here. Robos further secured the corners here, secured extra golds and stones for his armies, is still pumping out Plumed Archers out of 2 castles as well, so certainly providing army strength for his team here. Noob Squad, they're catching up on Anvil a bit now, they're closing in on 100 military again, and the eco has definitely stabilized. 30 villagers behind now, Anvil now, and there was just a moment ago it was like 80, so they're hanging in there. This isn't over by any means, but Anvil is fighting at a larger population gap. Young Panda still has some villagers over here, but whenever they get spotted by by Anvil. It's going to be harder for the red player to keep the army replenishment close. Dropping forward building, so lots of ranges yet again here for Young Panda. Still committing to the Arbalists, I presume. Great spot by Pete over here to deny the green castle going up. And, do we have victorious or something? This is really healthy or huge expansion still by the Portuguese player here. Still a healthy amount of resources in the bank for most of the players here, which once again leaves the game wide open. Once again, I will dive in to try and punish the Mayans here. The Halberdiers, they will be going down quickly to what is now elite chakram throwers. They have a ranged melee attack, but also shooting through units, so it's almost like an infantry scorpion, you could say. It's a ridiculous unit. It kills everything when you get to them. And General Zuma has had a rough time getting there, but here he is. Now sending in the siege elephants as well, which is the equivalent of the siege ram for these New Indian civs. And just look at how quickly they attack this castle. Even though two of these elephants, they will easily take out this castle. Robo's home base heavily compromised now, still 90 something builders, but that's going to decrease rapidly with this kind of pressure. I suppose the obelisk switch is to try and deal with the elite chakram throwers. And we're now closing in on PopCap, but so is Noob Squad. They're still feeding armies and keeping up here. It's just that they are about to lose one player in Robo here down south. The Mayans player losing the castles, losing the unit of choice, the Plumed Archer, and may very well not even be able to escape here if Anvil's vision is on point. Camel count looking healthy for Pete here, and matching the Paladin numbers. But as you see, Anvil are also going into Halberdiers here from several of the players, and then Halberdiers, they absolutely melt Camels. They have 26 bonus damage against them. Robo down to 46 villagers, 2 military here now, lost the castles as said, so we'll need to think of a plan B as to what unit to go for. Top side still, I mean, it's 2 of the players in Noob Squad, they're still at the pop cap almost situation and healthy economy running here, but is it going to be enough? They're essentially 2 vs 3 now. Did Robo manage to get any builders away? Risky. Mayans have good economy as well, so they certainly have the potential of reboom too. Meanwhile, our Portuguese player is going into the Siege Engineers tech and the Bombard cannons as well. Didn't quite catch if he has the unique technology Arquebus, probably not yet, but the Portuguese unique technology in Imperial Age also gives the siege weapons, or gunpowder units, sorry, increased accuracy. Another castle is denied to the right-hand side, so Young Panda has been allowed to roam about here for quite a while to set up a small base to the south side, but being spotted by General Zuma, it's only a matter of time before this castle completes and Zuma is safe from raids over at the eastern side over here. Chakram throwers just melting everything they see. Full elite chakram throwers from General Zuma now. I could see at least Portuguese. I mean, technically the chakram thrower is an infantry unit, right? So it should be weak to hand cannoneers, and with some arquebus bombard cannons at a distance, maybe you could get some splatter shots in as well. But it's a ridiculous amount of elite chakram throwers now. It's 4 or 5 castles for General Zuma here, as the defensive castle indeed goes up at home base as well. Robo attempting to reboom up north here. Young Panda with the stone walls to once again keep the aggression and raids out as well. They're very nearly full walled up north here, but the resources are running scarce. There's some gold. Yeah, I guess there's one in the back here as well. Okay, it's not going to run out of gold anytime soon. Paladins I'm counting now, camel numbers not quite keeping up. The bull upgrades are obviously for both players. Murder holes coming in for General Zuma. Makes sense with the defensive castles here so that enemy units can't camp near the foundation should they get close enough. The organ guns idea has been abandoned. Still the arbalest investment here. The middle ranges in the middle have been taken out from Young Panda. Noob squad, they're fighting at the almost 200 population below now, and the military situation seems out of hand as well. It's like 4 times the military for Anvil now. For players hung up on score, it's also score lead, comfortable score lead for Anvil. This is a great fight with Imperial Camels though. Lots of paladins going down there for seemingly no reason for Street Beat, but I guess it was too late to run away as well. Chakram throwers, halbs and siege trams moving north now to push. I suppose you could garrison the siege trams with the teal halberdiers as well and speed up the movement quite a bit. Young Panda with the bombard towers now to keep the aggression from expanding on this side, still scrambling up production buildings here. Zuma doesn't even seem to care at this point. They're even setting up trade. How are they going to trade here? Are they confident that they could trade down to the south side corner? I suppose they are. Convincing military lead for Anvil here. Still, there are like 100 more military here. Also obstructing Young Panda's expansion to the right hand side here. Where are the camels though? Eight siege elephants and counting, 14 siege elephants total for General Zuma. He should be ripping through the buildings with this push over here. And the fortified gate should be an easy match too for these guys. And then opening up for the raids and for the chakram throwers to move in. Young Panda scrambling up a castle here, but that might not complete in time. Actually, I don't know about the walls over here yet, so I guess that castle goes up, but for how long? Robo back at 49 villagers now. Still no military to be provided for the Mayans though, so that's a bit of a concern for the Hub squad. Have been fighting a tourist tree for quite a little bit of time now. Nice quick rolling from Pete there to keep the raiding action out. Stone walls keeping the hussars from reaching the Hindustani's economy, at least until the walls can be breached here with some form of siege weapons. Still open over here, so maybe this paladin will spot that. I guess they can tell that that's open, so that might be a point of entry for them. And the siege elephants are through. They're just going to melt that castle. They're going to eat that castle so quickly we won't even believe it. Even the castle even has hoardings, and the elephants just raise it just like that. The siege bomb has 5 seconds between attacks, whereas the siege elephant has 3 seconds between attacks, so it attacks faster. It is essentially weaker as it has the. Actually, it's the same HP, so scratch that. They're benefiting from the stable technologies and the cavalry armor, I believe, and they have the same HP as the siege ramp. So a ridiculous siege unit. This. Chakram Thorus, they should be dealing with the Arbalest, no problem here in this kind of mass. The choke point isn't really doing young Paladin the favors here. Like how the completely nerfed arm bio made them a useless unit, and now they introduce those elephants, yeah. I think it's changing a little bit next patch. They'll still be strong though. Well, to be fair, the elite chakrams are going down here to the arbs from behind, and the Imperial Camels acting as somewhat of a meat shield. But looking at the raids incoming here from Street Pete, who is now at pop cap with nearly 100 army, as long as he keeps these raids up, there's not going to be any more replenishing of armies from Noob Squad here. They're doing amazing holding on here, keeping up with taking the good fights and fighting at the numbers disadvantage the whole time. But overall population has been higher for Anvil for a long while here. That's where it ends. Imperial Camel and Paladin, the most created unit. Let's have a look at the stats. Pitlio even got paper money. The one that generates a steady trickle of small trickle of gold for the wood collected. I don't think it made a huge impact in this case. That's a ridiculous boom for the Portuguese, maybe to sling. Did they sling at all? There was some slinging going on there, probably for the Imperial Camel. Anyway, that's the first one. It's the best of 3, so let's just find the second, which is Noob Squad's home map, Regicide Fortress. Could potentially be another long one, but we never know. We'll just get right into it. Daihisa with the Chinese here. Obvious pick for Regicide Fortress. Why? Because with Regicide you start with extra food, so you don't even need to tech loom to avoid idle TC from the for the Chinese. Chinese start with 3 extra villagers, as you can see, 14 to 11, and they'll be left with just as little idle TC time as everyone else. Ridiculous head start for the Chinese on this map, and obvious number 1 pick to go for as well. That said, bordering a bit off here, she's just wandering why the Boar wouldn't follow her back. There we go. So Chinese stat. These icons here, they are the kings because this is regicide fortress. It's how fortress is usually played. If the king dies, you die. So you need to protect your king. Usually you'll see them scouting with the king in the early game because there's not really any real threat out on the field unless you run into 2 or 3 scouts at the same time. And yeah, you should see the players garrisoning the king in a castle or a tower or whatever comes to mind. Let's have a look at the civs here. I said Chinese, they have a great head start with the eco. The fortress could bring you unique unit play more often than otherwise because you start with the castle, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Chukonu here from Chinese. In the pocket we have Robo with the humans. Also, look at that feudal age on the way for the humans, because with the extra food you start with on regicide, it's you could essentially go instant feudal age and then drop your second TC and get a very nice head start to the boom. So that has to be Robo's plan here. He's going to drop the TC probably on the stone and either play 2 TCs, fast imp, keep shock treb style, or just get a nice head start to the boom and transition it into whatever unit comes to mind. Humans have the fastest paladins in the game, among other things, so might see some Cumans cavalry play here. Finally, for the squad, we have Pete with the Bohemians. Hussite wagons comes to mind, because again, you start with the castle. But Bohemians, Imperial Age, they have trash monks. You could research the unique technology, and the monks will only cost food. And other than that, they get chemistry early, so they have great gunpowder options as well. They get access to the hand cannoneers in Castle Age already, so a fast Imperial Age play. I wouldn't rule that out for the Bohemians either. Now, as for Anvil, we have Street Pit with the Turks, another potential fast Imperial Age candidate here, because the Turks get chemistry instantly once they reach Imperial Age. Then you could drop your siege weapons and ranges and produce hand cannoneers and bomber cannons once you have your buildings put down. But on Arena these days, this isn't Arena, but on Arena these days you'd more often see Turks play the Castle Age aggression, because they also have the Janissaries from the castle, which have 8 range and incredibly high damage output. In the pocket we have General Zuma with the Huns. I guess Tarkans come to mind as a anti-Chukonu unit, for example. Tarkans, very high pierce armor, also excel at taking out buildings. They have bonus damage against buildings. There are some hills around, so I wouldn't completely rule out Huns Cavalry Archer play either, because they have 20% discount to the Cavalry Archers. Finally, Piddly with the Koreans here. Gonna be the War Wagons, I guess. Fast Castle War Wagons, or possibly Fast Castle Boom Fortress is kind of a boomy map as well. So we might see mainly eco extension over early units production. The scouts run in here. Looks like Robo is at the risk of losing the scout, but I think he is going to bring it back home just fine. Yeah, they're already putting up some stone walls to the edge as well. Its fortress is perfect in that way. If you team wall, if you're able to, that is, You could team wall like this and that, for example, in there, and suddenly you have your corners secured for trade already. There's neutral goals on the map, so the starting the trade. You don't want to start a trade too early, but you also don't want to delay too much. Chinese 25 pop straight boom here by the looks of it. Built by he's have enough for two, just one additional TT, but the second one to be added once the wood allows, I'm sure. Maybe over here. Same approach for Pete. So as it turns out, the fortress is indeed a booming map. Whereas General Zuma goes for a TC outside on the woodline here. But it's an easy wall off here to secure the gap between Zuma and Pidlia here. So I think that TC is just fine as well. Janser is in the making for Street Pete, so Street Pete wants to go aggressive on the Bohemians here, not allow the Bohemians to set up too strong of an economy before they start massing their units here. No stone investment of Street Pete yet, so he's going to be staying with that one castle to begin with here. And for the squad we have WoW with the 50 pop gas stage for the humans here. A massive eco advantage for the squad for the time being, but that's humans. Instant feudal 2TC. Well, almost instant feudal 2 town center boom. Good spot of Sweet Pete here, seeing the town center going up, so we'll attempt to punish that extension. Not playing the Janissaries to the best of their ability, though the Janissaries should outrange town center, so that's a couple of Janissaries going down for needlessly good reaction of Pete as well, spotting the range there to pick off a few Janissaries essentially for free there. Robo is extending the boom further, did place the king in the tower in the back. So post for Regicide Fortress, killing one player and trying your best to take out their king, that could actually be a viable play here. And now if Street Pete moves to the edge of the map here, he'll see a flag at the tower, could suspect that the king might exactly be inside that one. Let's see. Yeah, sees the tower, sees the flag. One castle Janissary production, but also keeping consistent builder production behind it. Not from necessarily from all three TCs, it's a bit off here, but... And will convincingly massing armies here. War wagon numbers increasing as well. However, Noob Squad are establishing a solid economic position here now. And yeah, again, just keeping that lead that the early boom of the Cumans has given them. Not to mention the Chinese, of course, that start with 3 extra villages as well. Great combination with the Cumans. Chinese 24 popped straight boom. Truconus from the castle and Cumans with their feudalation boom as well to really give you an economic advantage here. Pitlier actually one PC only here, going for the war wagons. He's also not using them, so waiting for the proper number. I think he should consider working together with Pete up to the side here or something. Since now has 14 war wagons. Could easily punish this TC and take it out with some teamwork. There's the Imperial Age for Robo is getting the cavalry upgrade, so he is indeed going to go into the humans paladins here and maybe the hussars as well. You already have the castle, so you could easily get to the unique technology step husbandry for... Is that it, actually? Yeah, anyway, the unique technology from the humans to produce the scout cab line and step lancers, and I think also the cavalry archers at 100% faster rate. Parkers joining in here, they should be able to take out buildings quickly, or even a gate to let the war wagons in. Even Janissar is joining in here now. Maybe they're suspecting that Robo could be up soon, and he's just about to reach the Imperial Age. Good spot, taking out the stables, forcing Robo to rebuild them here. And also putting a stopper to that intense humans boom going on here. None of the other players, I guess Pete is getting closer to the Imperial Age as well, but Pete is also still being a little bit disrupted at home. He's actually gone into Castle Age and Cannoneers to try and keep the these Janissaries away. Robo rebuilding the stables inside of base now means that Ambil need to break through in order to stop the production buildings going up here. Only 6 knights though, that's not nearly enough to hold off this kind of aggression. 17 Chukadus for Dai, he's nothing too crazy there either. He's going to have to patiently mass up a few more to be able to contest this mass from Anvil, who seem to have a solid plan here with their units composition. Castle Age army is not necessarily expected on Fortress. Maybe they're hoping to find the king to snipe. However, Robo is moving the king, knowing that his base is in danger here. And once again, Robo is going to be the punching bag from Noob Squad here, but it also makes sense with the strength that humans can have or get on a closed map like this, and so extra starting food. Liking the stone walls up north here as well from Anvil. They're starting to prep the team walls to potentially get some trade running. Robo is trying to pick off some of the Tarkans with the knights here, but with the cover fire from war wagons and Janissaries, that's easier said than done. Anvil would really benefit from at least one player going Imperial Age here though, and to get trebuchets to deal with the castles as well. And if anything, they may be focusing a little bit too much on one player as well. As the 2 other Noob Squad players now are reaching the Imperial Age. Second castle for Daise is going to double up on that Chukolu production, whereas Noob Squad is sticking with their Tarkans and Tarkans Janissary war wagon push here. They're dominating in the military department, but they're lacking in the progression here. We have Imperial Age for the Turks now, which is going to allow for trebuchets and bomber cannons and hand cannoneers, I presume. I suppose that's what the ranges are for. so that you don't rely solely on Janissaries. Great call by Pete to go for Castle Age hand cannoneers, by the way. They have the same damage output as the Janissaries. They just have one less range. I think it's a good call of Anvil to move on to punish the Bohemians here now. They did some solid damage to Robo, force Robo to rebuild all the production, military production buildings. He has to rebuild TCs as well, but the eco damage still not the worst ever. 15 villagers killed. Snowballs going up to the side for Noob Squad as well. Not really much resources to protect in the back here, but the king is... Ooh! 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 Did the Tarkan spot that? I suppose you just delete the wall and let the king in, but this guy is exposed. I think he's trying to garrison over the wall or something. Let me in! Let me in! Kill the wall so I can seek refuge in your tower. Oh, please tell me Anvil are seeing this. Oh, send some Tarkans over, please. It's open here. Are the gates all locked? No, actually they aren't. At least not from what I can tell here. Maybe it's a pathfinding bug or something. I guess it's fine though. There's other things to attend to here. Hofnisse coming in for the Bohemians, a nearly unstoppable unit if you're able to mass a decent chunk of them with some with something as a meal shield in front to stop them. Yes. Turks, is it artillery it's called? What's it called, the unique trick for the Turks? I think it's artillery that gives the bomber cannons of Turks 2 extra range. They might be able to give Hofnisse a fight. Pitlia about to reach the Imperial Age as well. Triple castle war wagons to come in here. Still 2 TC's economy, but decent enough. You only need wood and gold for war wagons after all. I'm finding the king found his way inside. Nice. Street people actually got into cavalry here. I'm liking the mobility of that. They'll keep up with Cuban's cavalry, and when you get to a large enough amount of heavy cav archers, that's also real rough to stop. The knights just aren't quick enough to catch up with the cav archers when both of them. I guess there's an exception for the Cubans, because the Cubans actually 156 compared to the 154. See markets going up in the corners here. Better safe than sorry. Prepare the trade before it's too late. Middle wall's not in place for Anvil yet though, so they don't have a safe trade line. They have the walls over here, but they need to secure the middle as well. Granted, they have some army presence to help in those efforts, but you need your walls in place to secure your trade route for the late game. Population is looking quite similar here. Anvil more military, Noob Squad more eco, as has been the case most of the game. But now down south we also have the Chukonu siege. Chukonu tribes push here. against Pitlia's home base. Pitlia's king is safely stored away at Zuma's base, but with the war wagons out of position, Pitlia needs to pull them back home to try and deal with the threat here. This is not an insignificant amount of Shukonus with full upgrades here. You can see chemistry is in, rocketry is in. They have 4+3 range and they have 8+6 geared attack, which should be doing well even against war wagons. War wagons high pierce armor, I'd say, at least in these numbers. So the base has been breached. Pitlia risks losing the castles here and will have a similar situation to Land Combat where Robo lost the castles to produce plumed archers, whereas Pitlia might lose the castles to produce war wagons here now. So Anvil, slight military lead here now, but they're still behind the economy, which means that every time they lose a fight, they're at a disadvantage in affording the replenishment of units. Robo, 5 stable production of paladins here now, is getting some good raids in dealing with the castles, together with the Hoofnisse of Pete as well. And they're sort of pushing on both sides. What happened to the Chukunu over here? Most of the Chukunu went down, but there's definitely replenishment going on here, and a castle number 4 coming up for Daihise here. With yeah, I can only assume that the conscription is in a good while ago for the Chinese. So yeah, that's quick creation of Chukonu here. Easy remassing of units here and making use of the choke points outside of home base here as well. Did get into the fortified wall to further secure the economy, and Noob Squad are thinking long term here now. They have trade running and they have this fortified wall all across the map to make sure that the trade runs safely from Anvil raids, allowing them to refuel army numbers and push. Forty-two Chukunu and counting coinage coming in there in Imperial Age. You're allowed to sling, not before Imperial Age, but in the Imperial Age. When a player is in the Imperial Age, they are allowed to sling their teammates. Have archers fleeing to safety back at home base here. The Halberdiers addition is great from Pete as well, because the Bohemians Halberdiers, they have extra bonus damage against cavalry and yeah, all kinds of cavalry. Looks like Anvil are having some luck down south here, pushing with war wagons and siege and getting some raids in, but is it intentionally Chinese player walling for the Great Wall Tech? Yeah, probably. That should keep the trade route even safer. Thanks for follow, Jade. Yeah, walls going down for Anvil as well. They want to get their trade up and running. They're at a huge eco deficiency still. They're down, not huge, but they're down like 50-60 villagers. It's not. It's something you need to keep in mind for the long game. When flooding units like this, the population steadily 50 ahead for Doom Squad here. Military numbers dead even, but I'd still say Doom Squad. Their trade line is safe, right? They even have double layers of walls, basically. So even if Anvil breaks through here at the Daihi's base, they still have a way to go to get to the actual trade. Paladins doing work here, chasing away the war wagons again. And even some Paladins, Robo managed to get some Paladins in on the trade of Anvil. That's amazing. That's really going to cripple the trade building up here for Anvil. It's not huge. The Cav Archers will deal with it. It's still great value from these Paladins. Able to take out some of the trade cards here. Once again, the Chukonu numbers increasing trade cards. Look at the trade numbers. Noob Squad should have a very healthy gold economy running here now, whereas Anvil are struggling for the gold access. Street Pete, in fact, with the Turks, hasn't had a trade kick in yet, and Turks, they are probably one of the civilizations in this match that are most dependent upon gold income, because the trash options, except for the Hussar, which admittedly is free and instant for the Huns. They are lacking late game trash options. Again, the Paladins are through, walls failing to go up for Anvil here. I think Anvil is as if they can't get trade up and running, they're really going to struggle to keep up with numbers here. They're falling behind the military. This is snowballing out of control for the Anvil team, even if their home bases haven't exactly been breached yet. Let's actually find a trade tab here and see how we're doing with the numbers. Way more trade running for Noob Squad, right? They're basically pop cap now. Anvil at 458. They're 150 population down. They're going to be pushed back yet again. There's still the... Well, it's more skirmishes now for Pitlia. It could be gold issues, I suppose. Even wood is beginning to become an issue here for Pitlia, so it's going to be harder to make both skirmishers and war wagons with the eco situation. I suppose there's still lumberjacks galore, but oh, potential overtop here for Anvil as well could be a loophole for the paladins of Rovo to hop into the trade line and obstruct it yet again here. And it's never great to be forced to keep your cavalry archers defending, because it's such a mobile, effective raiding unit. Lots of purple on the map. Robo fielding those paladins, sending them everywhere, playing that mobility to great efforts here to keep Anil reacting everywhere. Looks like Pitlia is about to lose home base here as well, and the Chukonus, yeah, that population is going to rapidly diminish. Barely any military whatsoever for Pitlia. Granted, the king is over here, but it doesn't really matter if you lose your home base and don't have economy to get going again. GG is called. Noob squad take the home map of Regicide Fortress, and will failing to establish a solid trade and maybe overcommitted a bit to the cast age armies there, though they did punish Cumus quite a lot and set back Robo especially, crippling what is also the player with the best mobility of the three civilizations. Let's have a look at stats. Did get a great wall tech. So that certainly kept the trade of Noob Squad safe with the extra hit points on the walls. Robo getting his revenge after a previous land nomad game. Well, that KD is just ridiculous. 623 to 268. Funny to see these super quick feudal ages, but that's because we start with extra food on Regicide mode, and also some extra farms with the fortress map. So as the humans who could kick up instantly, I believe we might need to place one building, but that's about it. Great Chinese efforts there as well, 140 villagers, but Chukonus to dominate there together with some siege weapons. Alright, we have a decider game. It's a best of 3. The third game is going to be the deciding one. Let's pop it up. It's going to end with Colosseum, which is Anvil's home map. I'll just start the replay. I'll have to be right back. I need to get something to drink, but let's just get Colosseum rolling here. Okay, back here. This is Colosseum. It is... I was going to say it's kind of Arabia-like, but not really, I guess, because you have all of these woodlands along the edge here. Is it more of like a Socotra, but with usable edges, maybe? Spawns are decently close, but I mean, you still have wall-off potential towards the edges. Make some form of a team wall long-term, possibly. Anyway, let's have a look at the civilizations of choice. It's Street Pete with the Vikings. Fantastic economy with the instant wheelbarrow and handcart, saving you 3 villagers worth of research time for both these technologies, respectively. Vikings classified as an infantry civilization, so they'd open rush or man-at-arms at least in only once, maybe, but you'd more often than not see them use their economic benefits to play the full archers, crossbow, arbalest style approach. That's going to be accompanied by General Zuma from the pocket here with the Berbers, famous cavalry civilization with 15% discount to the knights and camels in the Castle Age. So they have a very easy time massing knights to compete with their opponents' armies in the Castle Age. As a result, they lack Paladin in the very late game though, so Berbers want to close it out late Castle Age preferably. They do get Hussars though for the very late game trash fights, and should the need arise, they also have the unique unit from the castle, the Camel Archers, which is the go-to to counter Cavalry Archer and Mangudai play if you're up against the Mongols. Finally, Pitlia with the Poles here, fairly close to Mongols. So, I see Pete is pushing in one of Pitlia's deer, I love it. A little bit of a sneaky lame here since the players spawn quite close. Yeah, Poles, they generate gold through soul mining. That's going to be nerfed the next patch if I've seen correctly. Or maybe I'm just mixing up some suggestions that have been made. But anyway, 50% return of gold from mining stone with the Poles. So you could get away with only mining stone for quite a while, and it's going to be useful for you if you're doing playing Man-at-Arms Towers, or just want to, on the closed maps, just want to get the castle up to get to the Poles' unique technology, the Schlachta privileges, or place your castles to produce the unique unit, the Obuk. So that gives them a flexibility that no other civilization has in that same way. Regenerating builders is always coming in. It's underrated. It always comes in handy if you're subject to raid but manage to save your villagers at low HP. You'll have them regenerate and be full HP when potentially when the next raid comes in. So Street Pete walling up the top side immediately here. He is up against the Dravidians, which have a lot of naval capabilities, even a unique boat Theristai to access in Imperial Age, but that's not going to come into play here. No water on this map. It's the Battle of Africa map pack after all. And the Dravidians get 200 wood upon reaching the next age, facilitating, let's say you go men-at-arms into archers. That 200 extra wood is going to allow you to make 2 archery ranges instantly anyway, rather than only the one, which is usually the case with a tight build order like the man-at-arms archers. Straight archers as well, if you do that with Dravidians, easily going to be able to afford both ranges and the blacksmith, which in return allows a potential earlier fletching as well with a larger mass of archers. So they're certainly a good archer civilization land mapped. Look at Noob Squad coordinating their scouts here now to try and pick off Street Pete's gold miners, having limited luck, but they are idling the gold quite a bit here, so Street Pete's opening armies may be a little bit delayed here. Don't think they got any villager picks, but still good job at idling the workers there. Scout goes down, that's not so good. Essentially limiting the scouting of Young Panda. You see that? 2 ranges straight away. Most civilizations can do that though, but I suppose the last... Yeah, there's the blacksmith forming part of the wall. So blacksmith and double range. Not many civilizations can do that immediately, because it's costly wood-wise. It's 175 wood times 2 and then 150. But that 200 extra wood makes it possible. So Pitlia is indeed going for the towers here. Is not accompanying it with men-at-arms, but is still making good efforts to deny Pete of some good access here. Pete playing as the Mongols, by the way. Long term probably wants to get to castles and Mangudai, but opens archers here, which is common to see the Mongols do on these open maps. Pete also to the feudal age, nice and early at 825 there. aided by the 40% faster food income from hunt that the Mongols benefit from. So Pitlia forced into a defensive tower at home here now. Great counter aggression from Pete as well. Good work with the Mongols archers. Top side we have Young Panda with the Dravidians working together with his Khmer pocket Robo with the scouts here. Robo, being the Khmer, does not need a barracks in order to, or prerequisite buildings in order to place other ones. So straight stable there for Robo, saving that wood going into farms instead. Should give the Khmer a quick and smooth castle age as well. Great aggression here from Noob Squad, I have to say, on both sides. Foresight Tower of Pitlia. Well, Pitlia has been committing to towers anyway, but without the men-at-arms to accompany them, the builders are all but more exposed. So Anvil struggling with to keep up here. Robo with more scouts out, a healthier population than Zuma as well. With 28 builders to 25, I think it's due to the idle TC time mainly here. But if you look at the farming economy, let's see if it compares. They have the exact same number of farms, but the Khmer farms don't need any drop-off at the build, so at this stage in the game, before wheelbarrow, the Khmer farms are more efficient than Zuma's, so that should reflect in the... That's probably why Robo has been able to field more scouts as well. He was likely up earlier, yeah, 806 to 856, 40 seconds earlier. That's 1.5 scout. And he also has a smoother food economy rolling. Actually forcing Street Beat into defensive skirms here, that's something you don't want to see in team games, because the scouts should be able to just dive in and shred them. But of course you need army, and when your gold is exposed, or contested rather, then you're not going to be able to make archers. Great scouts moving from Roba again over on the woodline to the left hand. That's going to be villagers going down for sure. 2 villagers killed by Robo, 5 by Young Panda. Anvil falling behind. Actually, why aren't Anvil more behind here? I guess the army micromanagement and the is affecting the villager production here, but still, this woodland is going to lose all of the villagers, and Anvil, rather, Street Pete is off wood. Street Pete does not have wood access. 26 of wood. He can't even afford a new lumber camp. Oof. Great contesting the core economy of Anvil there from Noob Squad. There's nothing Street Pete can do now. He doesn't have wood. He can't afford farms. He can't afford archers. He can't afford skirmishers. He can't even afford a freaking new lumber camp. Now he's actually been able to collect wood from the straggling trees around the TC, so now he has the wood for a new lumber camp. But look at the villagers lost though. 90 villagers lost for the Vikings. Very impressive aggression from Noob Squad on this very open map. So Pitlia also forced into skirmishes here, but is heavily outnumbered by Pete, unfortunately. It's probably General Zuma flaring that his scouts are home. If Zuma comes to the aid here, they could take a justifiable fight against the Mongols archers, but there's Robo's scouts in here as well, getting the attack upgrade now. So this guy, Bloodlines, is probably going to get Bloodlines as well, because he's on the way to the cast stage now as the first player, and Anvil are nowhere near that cast stage. In fact, even the Noob Squad pocket reaching cast stage could be the point of GG here. Anvil are 20 military down, they're notably down in builders as well, and once again Street Pit, he dropped a new lumber camp, I believe. It's still off wood. Struggling so hard for wood here. Yes, he's been taking the stragglers, but they are going to run out of wood. Barely anything left here now. And I'm sure, I guess General Zuma is moving over here to help clean up these archers, which makes sense. We really need the Vikings player to have access to wood. Or scouts might get around here. Great engagement against the feudal archers of Young Panda. Losing the archers mass, never good. Good sign, and that's us around. These skirmishers will get hits in. Great cleanup by Anvil there, with the +1/+1 scouts about to get Bloodlines as well. Maybe there's hope still for Anvil here. Maybe they can stabilize, but scouts archers down here from Robo and company. Cast Age on the way for Pete as well, and Pete has 20 something archers to become crossbows, which will easily clean up these armies with the Cast Age and crossbow botkin kicking in. Hello, pleb Jarrett. Still keeping that military lead Noob Squad. They've successfully snowballed this out of control. Pete Leo not able to do much with the armies. Has done great work at not losing villagers though, and Zuma also didn't lose a single villager this game. Think he's seeing the cast edge kicking now. He has to dive in to engage with the scouts here against the archer mass. If he sees them, he finds them. I think he just has to. Oh, Pete just barely saves them, and we'll get crossbow Bodkin in just in time. And I think he's going to go right for the wood. Wood is precious on this map. It's all along the edges. So if you lose access to the edge wood on Colosseum, you're in big trouble. Yes, you sorry, texture that Arena Classic RSAC vs BBB comes up after this one. Crossbows in. Young Panda with the archers joining in here as well. Small group of archers. Really crippling the Berbers player now on the way to the cast stage. One of the most vulnerable points of the game. So, effectively completely idled here. Zuma losing all that food access and will not be able to make use of the cast stage. Even left with one stable unconstructed here. The scouts... Nah, they're not going to see the light cow upgrade. It's still a good engagement for the scouts, I have to say. They're diving into a crossbow choke point here. But, yeah, gets a decent trade. All three armies of Noob Squad here gathered together, and that's the GG. The Berbers Cast Age does not... hold on, which... This is going to be Noob Squad. The Berbers Cast Age isn't going to give them anything at this point. GG is called. Great job at Noob Squad. Seem to be comfortable playing the more open maps. And closing it out here with a reverse sweep into a 2-1. All below 9 minutes uptime here for Noob Squad. So significant advantage already there, and the crazy Khmer Castle Age time there as well. Could probably thank the Khmer farming economy a bit for that, and the good aggression that they had keeping their economy. Economy is safe through aggression. Offense is the best defense, as some people say. Yeah, that's it. Last game on the shorter side, but a good set overall. Good competitive set, ending in a 2-1. So Arena is up next. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to take my